Hello. So, we have covered up so far. In that, we have known the planning process group. Mostly, we have known the concept of it, that what exactly it is. The planning that serves is based on executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing process. From that, we have completed the planning process, which is second. There are 24 processes. First is develop project plan, then plan scope management, collect requirement, define scope, create WBS, plan schedule management, define activities, sequence activities, estimate activity resources, activity duration, schedule development, plan cost, estimate cost, determine budget, plan quality management, plan human resources, risk management, and risk responses, etc. So we have completed all this. After this, you start project execution. In project execution, you have to execute the project. You have to complete the project. What all things you will need to project execution and what all you can do in it. So all those things will come in project execution. So if you want to see that, how can you see it? First of all, it comes in project execution, that is direct and managed project work. Means you have to manage the project directly. Means you have to guide it, and if there are any problems in it, then you have to solve it too. First of all, in direct and managed plan, first comes your corrective action. Corrective action means project activities that project management plan that you have made according to that schedule is time to time or not. So all those things you have seen in corrective actions. So in these project workers or leaders, most of the time it is project manager's job to align or solve the problem. Second is preventive action. As we seen in risk management, if there are any problems in the project management plan or if it is not aligned with your work, then you have to ensure that the activities are properly followed. So first take action on it, or if you feel that you may take more time in the next project or task, then start it early and then start the work before that, so that you don't delay the project or you have to add workers or resource in it. You can add all those things in preventive actions, or we call it preventive action, in which you can take some changes in the plan according to future plans or future activities that can be delayed. You can take some preventive actions by changing it in the first project management plan and taking some preventive action in it. After that, third comes your defect repair. What is defect repair? Then it is performed when there are some corrections in your project or it is not possible to replace it or prevent it. So we call it defect repair. This is damage in the project or according to the project performance or according to its requirements, which is correct and cannot be prevented. So to solve it, we use defect repairs, or it happens. So in this, scrapping, modifying a particular product, or there are some changes in particular product, if that requirement doesn't fulfill your requirements, then that is called defect repair. For example, if you have made a column or footing for construction, but there is some problem in that, voids are left in that, or strength is not enough to handle the structure, or it has defects. So to repair it, you have to demolish it and then you have to make some modifications. So this is called defect repair. Fourth is deliverables. What are deliverables? The activities you are performing, you are getting its output properly or not. We call it deliverables. Means you have to understand that some task was assigned to you, so its output you should get that. We call it deliverables. The output you get after performing that activity, so we call it deliverables. And last comes in this change request. What is change request? That if any of your application or in it you tell some changes like change in scope, change in cost, change in time, or any other aspect, so according to that you have to accept your change request or not. All these things come in your change request. Along with that, the corrective actions and preventive actions or defective repairs. So these play a lot of role in your change request. If your project is running properly, you don't need to make any changes or alternate. But if you take some preventive actions or if you make some changes in your project due to defect repair, then your time schedule gets ruined completely and you have to change it. You have to make some changes in it. So this is your direct and managed project work. These terms are used in it. After that, next comes your acquire project team, develop project team, and manage project team. So, whenever we talk about project team or whom to hire in project, whom not to hire, you have to keep in mind while acquiring project team. So, when you have a lot of people in the organization, but what do you have to do with that selected people? So, when you have a lot of people in the organization, but what do you have to do with that selected people to work on that project? You have to use these resources. So, you have to form a team. While forming that team, you have four stages or four types of team that come to you. First of all, as many people work in your organization, you have to include selected people in it. Then you have different like pre-assignment team, negotiation, acquisition or virtual teams. We divide them in this. First of all, pre-assignment. This occurs when the project, your review or availability of specialized resources. By checking their ability, you pre-assign that resource for that project or specific requirements are in your mind about that project. So that is called pre-assignment. That you have specific requirements that you need that resource. This is pre-assignment in which you first assign the resource that you require. Second comes your negotiation. At the time of critical or particular subject, you need experts in that project. The availability of resources at that time. So negotiate with them. You can negotiate with external organizations and get those resources available, or you can get their availability for that project. You can negotiate with them and hire that particular expert for that project, or you can negotiate with the external organization. Next is acquisition. Acquisition means you have to hire staff, or if you don't have staff in your organization, then you hire external agencies or placement companies on contract basis. So contract basis, the one you hire, they are acquired. Last is virtual teams. This is technological wonder. Most of the time, if you need it, you use virtual teams. Virtual teams are teams in your office. From here, you communicate with them, the essential parts which you have to share in your head office. Share communication or take some advice from them. You can connect with your virtual teams. These are your virtual teams. After that, when your project team is made, you acquire virtual teams or pre-assignment, or you did some negotiation or acquisition. After that, the next comes develop project team. Because of everyone is coming from different cities, different areas, then you need to develop them. Then that project will work as a team. Otherwise, everyone has different rules or different methods to work. Then it need to manage with everyone. That's why you need to develop project team. To develop project team, you have some stages. First is forming. So when you hire a team, you acquire them. So establish the ground rules. You have to form some ground rules that the formalities of each member are preserved or they are not treated like strangers. So what do you do for this? You form some ground rules or some rules. We call it forming. After that comes your storming. What does storming mean? That members start communicating with each other in this stage. They start communicating with each other, they start considering each other, and they communicate with each other. But everyone has different thoughts. They want to be individual. They want to be individual because of the team. So they resist. If a team leader is controlling the group, they resist and show hostility. So this is stage. It's called storming. After that comes your norming. So people feel that as a team we have to work. So they realize they can achieve the work, the task assigned to them. We accept it as a team. Then we can complete the task. So we will call it norming. After that comes your performing stage. In this, teamwork is what you trust according to the atmosphere. So you are provided with the flexibility according to the hierarchy of the work. Means the teamwork is what you trust each other, in which you get flexibility and the hierarchical importance in it, so that everyone understand what exactly we have to do. And the last stage is adjourning, what is conducted by the team assignment of the year and implements plan for transitioning roles. Means every member's contribution access and recognize them according to their efforts, and you can appreciate them for their contribution. This is adjourning. You can develop your team from this stage. After that comes your project team. To manage your project team, the best option is to manage project team. To manage project team, you have to first of all manage the conflicts or their issues, problems. You have to identify them and solve them. Project team will be able to work properly, or their salary issues can be related, or work environment related issues. If you solve those issues, then it will be easier for you to manage your team. Okay.